Healthcare isn't just in hospitals. It's in clinics, homes, ambulances, wherever people need care. And it's not just doctors or nurses, it's aides, techs, transporters, custodians, the ones no one talks about, but they're there every day. Holding hands, lifting spirits, pushing stretchers, wiping down beds, talking and socializing with patients, logging hours that no one celebrates. They're the first to clock in and the last to leave, and the easiest to overlook. But what they do matters to patients, to families, to the whole system, even if the system has a tendency to overlook them. So we won't. We see them, we hear them, and we're here to tell their stories, one voice at a time. This is Heart.
Hey guys, today we interviewed Hospice Administrator Deneil Jenings and Volunteer Coordinator Susan Jaffie. We really try to get some insight on the behind the scenes or the hidden aspects of their everyday, day-to-day lives. We got some really good insight and valuable information from this interview, and we greatly thank them for their time.
But one thing I do always like to share with people, like when I'm.
This is Susan Jaffie, a hospice volunteer coordinator. She starts off by talking about how hospice care started.
Starting to talk about talk to my volunteers about hospice volunteering is that people don't know that hospice was started by volunteers. And that is why the volunteer program is a huge part of the hospice care team. Back in the 50s, Dame Cicely Saunders was working in London, and she was on the cancer floor of a hospital, and she had all of these patients that were in excruciating pain. They were undergoing all of these treatments, chemo, radiation, things that we don't even know what they were going through because they were kind of all, let's say, like guinea pigs, and we were testing on them. They were completely isolated. They were in excruciating pain. They didn't have visitors. And, this nurse, Dame Cicely Saunders, decided that maybe they shouldn't be undergoing all of this curative care, that it would be better for these people that are clearly at the end of life to be more comfortable. So she actually started this whole level of hospice care from going from curative care to comfort care. And she started the first hospice house in London called St. Christopher's Hospice, where she had hospice patients. I believe they all had cancer at that time, but invited people to come in and to provide companionship and to provide support and to provide friendship and be there for these patients that were at the end of their life and experiencing so much loneliness. And so I feel like that's such an important part of hospice that people don't understand, and why the volunteer program is so important, that she invited these volunteers to come in to care for and provide comfort for these individuals. So I usually like to start out with something like that, and for people to understand what hospice care is. So does that kind of
That makes complete sense, honestly, because it correlates into everything that we stand for as well. Like what we're trying to spread word is like about how heart functions and functions as a group, and how we want to further put spotlight on people that are underappreciated, not underappreciated, but just people that deserve more appreciation for what they do, because what they do is so socially and physically demanding of them, especially those volunteers. they have to go and they have to put on their best face in front of those people and try to comfort them at the end of their life, and that takes a lot of courage and just a lot of grit, basically.
You're absolutely right about that. It kind of comes to your next question, like, what is the hardest part of your job? I mean, you said physically and emotionally. They kind of go hand in hand. If you're not taking care of yourself physically, then you might not be emotionally in the right place to do this job. But as far as emotionally, I think that we understand in our role of working with hospice that our patients are, they have a terminal illness and they are reaching the end of their life. And I know that I personally, as a volunteer coordinator, we're not necessarily always in these patients' homes. We're coordinating for our volunteers to go into patient homes. But there are often times where we get really close to a patient as well. And even if it's not the patient, it's the family. And we're there for the caregivers. We're there for the parents. We're there for these people that are facing a really, really, really hard time in their life. To lose a loved one is a really, really difficult time, and you have to be able to ask for help for other people to come into your life as well if you need support or if our volunteers need support. It takes a team to work hospice, and we have a lot of people on our staff that are trained in grief support and bereavement, and they can also help us with the emotional part of our job as well. But you just have to realize going into it that you can get close to these patients, but you also have to realize that that these patients are sick, and that when it is their time to go, it's making them more comfortable. It's making them, no more pain. There's just so much that goes into it. But that is a really hard part of our job. Our job, the whole job in itself is really hard, I have to say.
It is.
Even
It is
from
hard. It is, man. I think clinical, it is hard for us.
This is Deneil Jennings, a hospice administrator.
I just wanted to share a personal story with them for me, like on the emotional side. A couple years ago, we had a patient on service with us, and I would go. They didn't want to volunteer, and I had to, keep asking because it was just a man and his wife, no children, no anything, just them two. And he kept saying, "I don't want to volunteer," but I kept communicating with him, trying to, reach out to him. And finally, he let me come see his wife, and I did. And we got kind of close. I would go polish her nails and different things like that. Um, Moving forward, she passed about 2 years ago, I think, going on 2 years. And I still go see him. He's 96. He's living alone. Um, I can remember just sitting at the graveside with him, grieving because he was crying so hard. I mean, all I could do was just sit there and, trying to get him through it, that it was going to be okay. He is okay now, but we end up being friends now. So I still go visit him. So emotionally, it took a toll on me, and, trying to keep healthy boundaries as well as just being there for someone that needed you. So emotionally it could be tough, and physically it could be tough sometimes. I mean, we're giving of ourselves constantly. Like now, both of us are off on Sundays, but Drew and you guys were worth us coming on to talk to you about hospice.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah,
So we don't miss,
Yeah, we'd
we don't
love to.
miss anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just start us off with like a pretty simple one. How long have you been working in this field, both of you, honestly? Just a rough estimate would be nice.
8 years for me.
Mm-hmm.
8 years for me.
That's
I've had a couple of different roles, but 8 years within the
Mhm.
hospice.
And the next question we have is, do you guys have any like hobbies or like activities you like to do in your free time as a hospice volunteer?
Um, I used to be a runner, right? I got older, gained a few pounds. It's not happening, but I still kind of run a little bit. But I love walking. So just getting outdoors for me. I love outside. I mean, it's one of the best things ever. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's my
Deneil
hobby.
lives. Deneil loves outside. I'm kind of more of an indoor girl. And I do try to keep busy. Last night I actually went to bingo over at the American Legion, and that was a lot of fun. And I play mahjong weekly with a group of girls, and it kind of just keeps your brain stimulated. And I also have 3 cats, so I'm kind of a crazy cat lady, but that's
Yeah, because like I feel like personally, like as like a hospice volunteer, like you deal with stuff and it can have emotional toll on you. So I feel like it's like important to have like hobbies so you can like balance your lifestyle out and like have like de-stressing activities.
Absolutely.
yes.
I also mentor for the juvenile court system, and I usually have them on a weekend. So we find stuff to do as well, whether it's outside or going to the museum or library. So yeah, you're absolutely right. You do have to have something to kind of, and then we have each other. So sometimes when
I,
we're having a rough day, I mean, we're bouncing stuff off each other constantly, because it's not going to always be a good day in hospice world or just medically. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Next question we
She's
have
totally right.
is, why did you guys decide to go into this field?
Hmm. For me, I was kind of led in this direction, honestly. I've always been love service and stuff like that. So um, just serving. And then I ran into a guy one day that wife was a doctor, and he knew I did service, like I did service projects for the city and different things like that. And some of the stuff I was doing was kind of some of the things that they were doing in hospice as well. So he asked me, did I want to meet his wife? Because they had a position open. And I met his wife, and that's how I began.
That's nice.
that kind of, similar. I don't know, because it's just not so well known to be a hospice volunteer coordinator. It did kind of fall in my lap as well. And this job became available with a new hospice that was opening up in my area. I live in Savannah, and I went for it, and you know, I kind of haven't looked back a day since. It's just been very, very rewarding, and um, you do get to meet wonderful people.
And
Um,
and that kind of leads to the why of like we chose to interview you guys, because like I feel like Divik mentioned earlier, like this profession, it's like there's not much spotlight given, and like there's so much like hard work that's behind this, and I felt like it was important to spotlight this certain profession.
and I'm really
Oh,
glad
yeah.
that you did, because one thing that you don't think about in like healthcare or just a profession in medicine or medical healthcare is a job that's not clinical. We're not doing medical work on these patients. And sometimes we walk in the room and we're there to meet them, and the patient is like, okay, what do you want me to do? And it's like, we just want you to like be there for us. That's why we're here for you. We're not looking to do your blood pressure. We're not taking your temperature. We're just here to be your friend. We just want to hang out. We just want to talk and get to know you. And it's a whole different side of, kind of working in the medical field, but it's just as important as any other job that you could have.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, bouncing off that question, what is something that like most like average people, like the regular person, like doesn't like understand or like realize about like the work you do? Like something that's like hidden or like behind the scenes, almost sort of like.
I think of as a volunteer coordinator, I think too that they don't realize maybe like as far as on the clinical side, like Susan said, we go in there, but we have to know in most cases what they're on hospice for. We get to see their charts as well. We get to sit in IDG meetings with our doctors and our other staffs just to see what's going on. We get to communicate with our bereavement people, our grief coordinators. So we're kind of our social workers. We talk to them a lot, and then we go out to schools like you guys school, and we recruit interns. So we do probably the most of anyone on the team, to be honest with you. So our role is wide span. So we get to do a lot, and then we have to, document. We have tablets like everyone else. We have to chart our patients' visits. We have to put, if you guys was a volunteer and your time that you send me, I have to put it to the patient's chart. So it's a lot that we have to do as a coordinator.
And
Yeah.
one other thing that, we're trying to do, and I don't know if y'all, know what's happening in the economy or in the world today about how, just everyone is short staffed. And here we are out here trying to recruit volunteers, someone that's not even getting paid for a real job that they're doing. It's really difficult, it's a difficult task. And then once we recruit a volunteer, it's very difficult to retain that volunteer, so you're involved in your schools, you're involved in your studies, you I'm sure have hobbies and different things, and maybe the first thing on your list isn't to go volunteer for a hospice patient, but we have to try to do things to keep you active and remind you that this is a commitment that you've made. We opened the door for you, but you're the one that walked through, and you are committing your time to being a hospice volunteer. And sometimes, y'all seem like you really have it together and you really want to do this for, the right reasons. And, sometimes I feel like I'm having to always remind my volunteers and, are you going to be able to go? And that's a really hard part of the job for me, is to kind of confront people that may or may not be living up to what my expectation is of a hospice volunteer.
And since you were on the topic of like the world issues in the modern world, like one question I have is like, how did the COVID-19 like affect your guys' staff and everything? Because you guys did mention you guys worked for the past 8 years. So how did the pandemic really affect like your staff, and how it really affected your guys' job too in dealing with the staff shortage?
Well, our job is not only just like visiting patients, it's also providing phone support, making tuck-in calls, where you don't really have to be 100% face-to-face. Right now, we're starting this project. It's the Pen Pal program, where we're sending cards and just thinking of you, and trying to think outside of the box, where if someone's not comfortable actually going in front of a patient, to doing things that are more administrative or more crafty or creative at home. And so we also had to utilize that a lot during the COVID, during the pandemic. We had to, still keep people engaged, but just in a different way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Another question that I had personally was that, what is a valuable life lesson you have learned from doing this job, just in general?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go. I think, well, for me, I think, first of all, you need to take care of yourself. So, uh, uh, and have some type of things in place. There's so many times that we see families that that's not speaking to each other, or you know uh, don't have their affairs in order. and then after the loved one is gone, everything breaks loose. So I think just to make sure I personally have my affairs in order, have someone that if you're not in the same town with, your family, stay in contact with somebody, make it right. And then just take care of yourself, eat good. I mean, we're gonna all pass, but some things we can't avoid. So I think like eating good or exercising, your mental health, just take care of yourself because it could all end before it was, it was time. So, and just treat people right. Treat people the way you want to be treated as well. Because one day we may all need each other. So just be kind.
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it any better. Just being present, being, you know, listening, sharing, talking, being with people, being with your family.
That's great. Next question we had was, how do you think we can better educate people about roles like yours in the healthcare system?
I mean, there's so much education and so much that people don't understand about hospice. It can't be like a one person show, really. That's why hospice is a team. But um, you know, educating people from the very beginning that hospice, you do have a terminal illness, but it's not a death sentence that means that you're going to die in 3 days. We are there to improve your quality of life, and so we just want to make sure that we're in the community, and besides just being in the community, it's also starting with educating our staff on what we do, because we are kind of a forgotten role, because we're not clinical and we're not nurses and we're not, the ones that are taking care of people, if you will, in a clinical setting. But that we're out there and we're explaining to people what hospice is, the fact that it is a Medicare benefit, there are no out-of-pocket expenses, that when we say it's a benefit, it is a benefit for you and your family to have extra help in there so that you don't have to take your loved one to the hospital anymore, somewhere where they don't want to be. And I mean, educating is it's everything. And just trying to explain the hospice philosophy.
And then our volunteer program, we have a volunteer education series once a month. And we invite our volunteers to jump on the call. We have a call that comes on at 9. I think it's like a second or the third Wednesday. And it's for every volunteer in the company. And our volunteers can come on, and we have guest speakers that talk about different things, whether it's self-care or dementia or whatever it may be, veteran services. And they get to ask questions the last 15 minutes of the presentation. So there are things we provide our volunteers that they can learn more about hospice and life, and just things like that, any questions they may have. It comes on at 9. It's live, and then it's recorded for those that can't come on. They could jump on at 4 as well. So we do try to educate our volunteers as to different parts of hospice.
All right. We have we've talked a lot about like you guys' jobs and the emotional aspect and all that stuff. Now, this is like one of my like favorite parts about this interview. We didn't give you guys the questions beforehand because these are supposed to be on the spot type of questions, but don't worry, they're not like big answers. It's like 1 or 2 words at most, maybe a sentence. This is gonna be our rapid fire round. You guys, we're not gonna time you guys or anything, but try to keep the answers under 5 seconds. Okay, try to answer quick.
Okay.
All right.
Try now. We are older. We'll try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go quick. 1 word to describe your job.
Meaningful.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Helpful.
All right. That's
Necessary.
coffee or tea.
That's right. Necessary. It's necessary.
Mm-hmm. Coffee or tea.
Coffee.
Yeah, that's my personal favorite too. Most underrated or favorite part of your day?
Mm, Underrated or favorite. My favorite part is talking to like Susan. We talk almost every day just to get through things. Sometimes our job can be overwhelming. So we have lots of pieces going on all the time. So that's probably, if you don't manage it, it'll manage you. So that's my
Mm-hmm.
least favorite part.
All right. Biggest pet peeve at work?
People not listening.
Yeah.
They hear what they want, and they're not actually listening to the question.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is accountability.
That
Mm,
too.
that's a big thing. Okay. Go-to snack or food during a long shift or after a long shift, whichever one you prefer.
Watermelon.
I was about to say, Danielle's going to say something healthy, and I'm going to say something like, I like cheese,
Gross.
cheese and
All right.
crackers.
All right. Um, favorite coworker energy. Like, do you like about your colleagues? How do you prefer ones that are like kind of chill? They don't talk much. They just keep to themselves, or do you guys want to have like louder, energetic colleagues?
Um, we could be both. But
Yeah.
like if you talk to one all the time, like Susan, she's a little loud and she's funny. So when I'm having a bad day, she keeps me laughing. So I love that about her. So yeah,
All right.
Yeah,
Texting or calling?
I'm a caller.
Mm-hmm.
I could be both. I guess I'll go with calling too.
All right. After a shift, well, how do you relax? Do you watch Netflix? Do you sleep? Take a nap?
Yeah, we be so tired.
I love being in my bed, and yes, I do love some streaming shows. So
Yeah, I'll watch TV a little.
Solid choice. Okay. Um, Last question. If you could say one small thing to every healthcare worker right now, what would it be?
I would say get in it for the right reason. Some people are
Yeah.
in it for the money, but you got to have
Yeah.
a heart of care and you got to have a heart of service. So make sure look that over. Am I doing this for the right reasons? Because if you're in it for the right reason, you'll make the money. But if you're not, you're going to be chasing the money. So right reasons.
that's a great answer.
Mm-hmm. That's a yeah. Honestly. Um, that's pretty much all for questions. If you guys have anything else you would want to share with us, that'd be great. On a side note,
Let me share
when
you.
we do post this on like a social media platform, you guys said how you guys are oh, there's a cat. You guys want to like have more volunteers and stuff. We have some friends that could probably want to reach out maybe. Is there like a link that we could give to them or something to help them sign up for this?
We have the Better Impact link. And just remember, just because Susan's in Savannah, and I know you guys are near me, but you guys can do remote volunteering for her. So if you
Mm-hmm.
yourself, because I right now only have Drew, and if either three of you want to help her out and volunteer in Savannah remotely, that's perfectly okay. So our volunteers are able to go from branch to branch. They're able to help out wherever there's a branch at. So yeah, but Better Impact is the link we use to onboard.
Thank you guys for watching. If you found any of this helpful, informative, or even just interesting, consider sharing this with others. If you're interested in becoming a volunteer, check the link in our description for more information. Thank you.